Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Shabbat Perek Gimal Mishna. Gimal, over this Mishnah, we're going to discuss literally a case of cooking an egg, and the main principle that's going to really stick out in this Mishnah is going to be machloket of whether or not. Well, let's just say this: everyone agrees that you're not allowed to cook something through a fire, and everyone agrees that you can't cook something through a derivative of fire. Right? Let's say I heated up a piece of metal on a flame, and then I went and took it off the flyer, and I took an egg and I cracked it on top of that. I wouldn't be able to cook on that either. Now, if I left on the other extreme, is I just took an egg and I left it in the sun and let it just roast on its own, and that would be okay according to everyone. The main mahloket over here we'll see is if something, right? Let's say a piece of metal was heated up from the sun. Could I go ahead and cook an egg on that? Right? So I didn't go ahead and cook it, on something that was heated up from a fire itself, but it wasn't directly through the sun. It was through a byproduct of something that was heated on through the sun. That's going to be the mahloket in the Mishnah. First, we're going to get to the main case that everyone agrees with, and that's you cannot go ahead and place an egg near an urn, right? It's a kettle, right, that you heat on the flame, usually made up of metal, and they would stay hot for a long time, these kettles, these urns, and you go ahead and you place an egg next to it, so it'll like soft boil, it'll like roast a little, on its own. And yeah, we don't allow you to go ahead and do that. Why? As we mentioned before, because this urn was heated up on a fire, and this is toledot ta'ur, right? It's something that was heated through a flame, and therefore you're not allowed to go ahead and have this cook something. Now, additionally, Tanakama says, and over here is going to be machloket, you're not allowed to go ahead and cook it lightly in a sudar, right? Sudar is a handkerchief, and so you can't go ahead and just wrap it in these cloths themselves, in these like handkerchiefs themselves, and so it'll cook lightly. Why? Again, because these handkerchiefs were heated up. Well, over here, this is more the mahloket. Over here, these handkerchiefs were heated up from the sun, right? You left those handkerchiefs out in the sun, and you're not allowed to go ahead and cook that egg in those handkerchiefs. If they were heated up from a flame, from a fire, right? Then of course everyone would agree not allowed to heat up an egg in that and cook an egg in that. Over here, it's the Tanakama saying even if you went ahead and heated it up in the sun, I can't go ahead and place an egg inside to help roast that egg a little lightly. Rabbi Yosef matir. Rabbi Yosef allows this instance of when the handkerchief was heated up from the sun, right? The main point, Rabbi Yosef is not gozer. I don't make a gezerah that extreme, that far, that I say, oh, if something is heated up from the sun, people aren't going to head and go ahead and assume that I could go ahead and cook something on a fire, right? Rabbi Yosef doesn't take the gezerah that far. Whereas Tanakama does. Halacha is not like Rabbi Yosef. Halacha is like Tanakama, that also something that was heated up, a derivative from the sun, you cannot go ahead and cook something with that item. This is according to everyone. You can't go ahead and bury it in dirt, in sand, in dirt on the road, dust on the road, so it can go ahead and roast. Why? Because you can't move dirt. Right, dirt is muktzeh, and there's an issue of muktzeh, hazazat afar. That's asur according to everyone. And as we mentioned, halacha is not like Rabbi Yosef, rather something that's heated up, a fire, of course, itself, something that was heated up from the derivative of a fire, or something was heated up from the derivative of a sun, is all asur, right? And that's the halacha. It's asur to use any of these to cook something on Shabbat.